Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. It's April 15th. Happy tax day to everyone. Alright, after 12 days of working non-stop, I took a half a day off. It's probably about 2:30 in the afternoon, and this is what we have going. So Mother Nature fails us again. So anyway, yeah, we had a lot of rain come through, and freezing rain, and now tomorrow they're talking possibly snow. So it's the way things go around here. So anyway, I've got that down there warming up. So we're warming up the little back area here, and it's time to go back to work on her. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to put these pieces back together again. So I'll get the door covers back on the doors. Probably, I don't know if I'm going to rehang the doors yet, because I want to put it's around, I think it's still in the plane, the battery mount. So I got to work on that. I did get a new prop, so I've got to drill the holes in that, but that doesn't have to happen today. So I'm going to straighten this up. I got somewhere on here, a little bag of goodies, Amazon, 100 something, 120 little, I don't know, Dremel sanding discs with some little holders too, so that'll last a long time. So anyway, let me get everything set up, and then let's get to work. Alright, didn't forget about you. It's a little after 6 o'clock. I ended up starting about 2:30, and then just went upstairs and had some dinner. So so I've got, you know, maybe 3 hours total time into it so far today. So here's kind of sort of where we're at. Let me just bring you at least up to date on what I've gotten done today. I've got this reinstalled back in again. So I've got all the screws in. The only thing is, this looks good. I've got a little piece of wood showing down here, so I'm going to have to pop this corner back up again. I'm still deciding if I want to do something with this. I may end up opening this up and sliding this one a little bit farther out to see if I can get it. Because now that it's that far in, it's creating this little pucker here. So I may go ahead and just take this off. So I'll just go ahead, and it's a whole lot of screws, but I got to take at least this side off. If I take this side off and run them all the way over to here, this side will pop up. So, and that should be enough for me to get down inside there, I'm hoping. But, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. If the light hits it just right, you can almost see a little stress in the plastic. It's not cracking, it's on the compression side. You might be able to see it from this angle. I'm hoping you can. I'm hoping it's going to be good. You know, we'll find out as time progresses. So this is why I've got extra. So, alright, so I've got that taken care of. These little side windows are in. I'm going to take care of the back. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do on that. In the meanwhile, this is the battery pack setup. So the way that this is designed to fit in, let's see if I can kind of sort of get you down on my level down here. Baby. There, let's see if this works. Alright, this is going to slide on in and latch into place. And I've got a wire hanging up on this side. Hang on. Alright, there we go. See if I can get this a little bit better for you. Okay, so this is all in. Here's the wires. I've got this. I haven't put the screws in. The screws are sitting in the holes on the bottom of this. I just got to tighten them up. So this is all ready to go to get installed. I decided I wasn't gonna. I'm hoping you can see this okay. I decided not to paint the top of this black, because most of it's going to be hidden by the dashboard. So you know, this is good to go. So this also, it's got other options what can go here. If I decide to put a smoke pump in, and I've got to move the weight forward in it, because I'd like to keep it somewhere down here near the CG, because the way I've got everything set up, here's the CG of the plane coming right down to here, and the way the fuel tank is sitting, it's going to be almost butted up against here, and then it's going to end right about here. So the fuel's going to be on the CG. So that's not going to change the flight characteristics when it's full or when it's almost empty. And this spot over here is for the smoke oil tank if I decide to put the smoke system on. So this is why this whole thing was made the way it was. So that way, if I put the smoke oil system in, which if the plane takes off and flies great, I'll put the smoke oil system in. The problem is when you're taking off, it's 2 pounds heavier because that's 32 ounces of smoke oil going in there. So I may get a new tank and go down to like 20 ounces or 24 ounces just to lessen the weight. So that stuff is in, and this will get attached in there, and hopefully that'll stay. I won't have to touch that anymore. Now when I come to the back, I've kind of decided how I want to tape all this off. I'm gonna use, well, this is not the tape I'm going to use. I've got some thinner tape. I just don't know where I put it. I got to go hunt it down. But this will just come in and I'll tape across. I could use this if I want to. And I'll tape across. I'm going to leave this little box open. So it'll be painted over here, and then I'll drop it down a little bit over here, and then I'll follow this down to the bottom. And then it's going to be an interesting tape job. But I'll make it work. So I'm going to get these taped up, and when I get the plane put over to the other side, back to the part of the shop with more lighting, then I'll just go ahead and spray those things either tonight or first thing in the morning, because I got tomorrow off too. So I want to get those things painted, and I'll give them a week to dry. Those things had 2 weeks to dry because that's how long I wasn't here. So I'll get these things painted up. If I can get them painted up tomorrow, then next Monday is my next day off, because I got another 6-day work week. Then I can go ahead and install those. I still have to contact Mike at Road Rage Design to see if he's got my numbers set and my decals up front. I don't know if he has, because I haven't pressed them forward to it. But I'll show you. I'll kind of show you why I'm not that in too big of a rush. It's snowing out again, so so anyway, yeah. So this is just delaying my first flight anyway, and even before I got to finish off I've got to have it warm up and be a little more temperate, because I've got to get this same plastic that I use for the windscreen to do this little piece. It's almost going to be like a little fairing that's going to go over the top, down the edge here. That's going to cover this open gap, or the seam here, on both sides. So what I'm probably going to do is, if I can get it to wrap under, sorry about that, if I can get it to wrap under and then go over the top, that will look better. But I may end up just going from up in here, in this area here, and just running it all the way down to here and just terminating it. So that's going to be, because I don't know how it's going to handle this curve, because I know that, like I said, right here you can see on the compression side it doesn't seem too happy. So I'm hoping that when I get this thing out in the sun and it warms up, that this works with me, this bend. So anyway, we're getting closer. We're getting pretty darn close. I'm hoping. I was really hoping to have it ready to take it outside and start, pretty much this weekend, maybe next weekend. But with the weather, this weather's not changing. I think summer's going to come in August. I think spring just decides it's going to stay here forever. So what I'm going to do is I'll get everything taken care of back there, and then I'll bring you back and show you how everything is with the masking tape is on before I take those rear inspection covers off, just so you can see how I've got them set up. Because once it comes in here, it's just going to be a matter of me just trimming everything up and throwing them off to the side, and then just because if I get up first thing in the morning, sorry about that, if I get up first thing in the morning, come on downstairs and spray those things, then we'll be good to go on that. Now, the reason why, and I forgot to tell you about this, the reason why I moved those battery packs so far forward is because adding these flying wires to the back, that when the center of gravity is here, the battery packs right now are right up here. That's not that much of a distance. Oh, I'm losing battery power here. Got my little light. Okay, seeing that I got a new light, let me go ahead and try to re-explain this. Alright, the CG is about halfway across the width of the door, the length of the door. So when we're going to where the batteries are, coming straight down, we're looking at about 8 inches to where the batteries are going to be mounted in the front of the fuselage. So this is the weight that I'm trying to put in to balance the weight. To balance the weight of flying wires in the back. That's probably about a half, maybe 3/4 of an ounce of weight on the tail. And so that is going to equal about 5 ounces up front. And those battery packs are a little bit more than 5 ounces for both of them. I think it's probably about 8. So I wanted to get everything up front, because if I needed to move those back, I can move those back a little bit more. I can move them to the tail end, and that'll get them closer, and that should help balance. Now, one thing I did not put on, because I'm trying to keep everything as light as possible, is this. This is one of the rear wheel springs in the back. I don't have one of them on here because it's really not necessary. I can get away with leaving this one off. If for some reason, even if I move those batteries all the way to the back, if I needed to transfer more weight to the tail, that's what's going on. So no, I mean it's a half ounce, but I'm trying to keep every ounce I can off the plane. And even though it's a 30-pound plane, a half ounce, I'll take that as a win. So so anyway, let me get everything set up with the taping on the rear inspection covers, and as soon as I get those all set up, ready to take off, I'll bring it back and show you what it looks like. Then I can just go ahead and call it a day here. And then I'll have those things ready. I'll spray them tomorrow, and then in the afternoon I'll bring it all back in and let's get working on something else. We still got not a lot of little stuff, just little teeny things. Alright, I got everything taped up, both sides. It may look confusing to you because it was very confusing to me. Alright, this part in the middle will not be painted. Everything, I just don't really want this stuff sticking to this paint, and I've been trying to keep it like this is starting to sit. I got to very carefully pry it off because you know what happens with this paint. So anyway, what's going to get painted is everything on the outside. So this will get painted out here around the outside. This big open spot will get painted. And then when we come down underneath, I got the camera set up right there, we go. This part on the inside here won't get painted. I've got to trim this off here. So this little bar up to this point here and then all the way across will be painted. So up here on the top where the elevator goes through, this is going to be a clear spot up here, and it's not going to be painted until you get down below it. Like I said, confusing. Once I get these things trimmed out, then I'll bring you back here and I'll hold it up just so you can see what it's going to look and what's going to get sprayed. I hope. Alright, I have got the first piece cut out, all trimmed and ready to go. This is what it ends up looking like. So everywhere, let's see if there we go. Everywhere you don't see tape is going to be orange. So this will just slide right into position, and when it gets screwed in, wherever there is tape, it's going to be clear. So that'll be done up top, and this will be done down here just like this. So that's the way they're going to look. It is a lot of orange on the back side, but I had to do it that way to make it one piece because this bottom triangle piece comes out much farther than the square on the top. I could have made this square when I was building it, but I decided, you know, it already had the framework in here, just use what's already in there. So I did that to save time. So anyway, I will go ahead and I'll put this on the other side so I've got a reference point, and I will get the other side taken care of. Sorry about that. I'll get the other side taken care of, and then that'll be it. Just got to start moving stuff around and get the yard equipment back inside and wait till tomorrow morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the shop. It's the 22nd of April, and spring's trying to get here. It's really trying hard. So it's gonna be it's kind of gray outside right now, but I've got to work today. I only get one day off this week, so I've got to work today. Be going in about 11 a.m. and coming back I'll get back here about 4:30 in the afternoon. It's just a short day. So I'm going to get a little bit of work done down here right now, and then later on tonight I will come back, and what I'm going to do when I get back is this. Let me just show you right now. It was something that I was kind of hemming and hawing over, because it's what I do, for quite a while, and I'm hoping you're going to be able to see it through the video. The cowling itself, because I've got 2 coats of paint over a gray primer, and it's still a light gray primer, but it's not a really light gray primer, and you should probably be able to see it. It's a little bit darker than the airplane. So what I'll do is I'll get this set up tonight, and I'll do a little scuff with like a Scotch-Brite pad or something, just to kind of get, and then just shoot more orange on there, the way that after several months of trying, I think I've got it down pretty pat. Now that, because it's sitting on, sorry about this, because it's sitting on fiberglass, it should not want to lift. I'm really hoping, because I think that the reason why it lifted easier was because it was sitting on top of nitrate dope, and even though it sat fine on top of it, it was easy enough to get underneath the paint that I sprayed on top of and just allow it to start lifting. So I'm going to do that later on today when I get home. I've got my little stand still somewhere around here that I originally painted it on, so I'll do that. So it'll be just be a dust coat, and then probably another dust coat, and then we'll go ahead and then I'll put the final on it. So it's going to be like one coat, but it's just going to be done one coat in stages. So I'll do that later on, and then we'll let that set up and dry. I still haven't gotten the lettering done yet. I will be heading up to Road Rage Design tomorrow, because I gotta head up to go see Gino up at Taylorcraft Aviation. So I will stop in and see how they're doing along with the lettering, and you know, we're getting closer. We're getting a lot closer. What I'm going to be working on today is we're going to be doing the dash panel. So what I did, I don't know if I showed you earlier, through RC groups, there was some guys that were trying to figure out, because there's not enough information on this plane. If you're trying to do a scale, you know, like me, scale restoration, or you're trying to do a scale build, we don't have the information. I never heard back. We never got a response back from Gillard Aviation that owns the plane now. We never got a response back through email. So we're just still kind of, you know, we're shooting from the hip on this one. So anyway, what they did is he knew what it looked like, because when they took out both front seats and just put in a single stick control in the middle, because her seat was in the middle of the plane, not on the side. So what they ended up doing, they took out the gauges that weren't needed, because, you know, you're not doing cross-country flight, and it's aerobatics. So anyway, so what I did was I was trying to find a decent, reputable source for good-looking gauges. I didn't want to get any, you know, cheap gauges that was going to look kind of hokey. So there's a company online called iFlyTailies, and I'll give you a link right up here. So so what they do is, there's so many different scale size gauges and items, products that you can get through them, and the money was cheaper than I expected. So what these are is, you can get a whole kit, and seeing that I just dumped everything out of the bag, let me just put it back in the bag and I'll show you here. So this was a bag for, it was called an aerobatic, and what it is, it was set up, and if you can see on the bottom, it says Aerobatics Aircraft 3rd scale. So what these are 3rd scale size instrument, pretty much instrument displays. So so what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to use Forstner bits and drill through. Let me get this. And drill through so I can have a hole, and then set these in from behind and glue them in place. So the problem I may have on this, because when I came in and measured out, I've got a 7/8 inch Forstner bit's the biggest I've got. Now I can go to the store and get 1 inch, but they're going to be expensive and I don't want to spend the money. So what I did was, you know, that's kind of an oddball size. Well, it's kind of an oddball size until you change it over to millimeters, and then it's a 20. So it's a 28 millimeter hole that it's going to need for it. So what I will probably do is I'll go ahead and see, this is where my brain works again. Dangerously works. I will probably make a little, because some of them are 28 millimeters and some are going to be smaller. The smaller ones I should not have a problem with, but the big ones, because I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got 4 big ones and 3 little ones. For the 4 big ones, I'll probably take a piece of plywood and drill a hole through it, cut it relatively round, and then just go ahead and put it in my drill and spin it up against the sander. If I get that down to 28 millimeters, then I can just plant it down, just with a razor knife. Just go ahead and put a little scribe line around the outside of it, and then I'll come in with a Forstner bit, drill it straight down through, and then old Mr. Dremel will come out, and I'll just go ahead and finish that out to the outside. So that's kind of how I'm going to plan doing those. So that's about it. I'll bring you back as usual from time to time, just to show you how things are progressing. Because as much as I like to have all the open holes like she did on Hairplane, I really don't want to have to drill all the open holes. So that'll be a decision made somewhere on down the road. But for right now, I just want to get the instruments in the way they're supposed to be, and then if I wanted to come back in later on and drill open holes through there, that decision would be made farther on down the road, not today. So let me go ahead and I'll get things kind of somewhat cleaned up a little bit, because I got to make some more room in here, and then I'll get to work. Alright, here's what I had to do, because everybody watching these videos know how my brain works. I had to take this one of this size, increase it by 180% to this size. So that way what I was able to do was to come on in, put this on the front, and just kind of figure out how I wanted to set things up. Now, because of this open hole, I redesigned a couple things, and I added one that that's not on here, but I just needed it to fill up space. I just wanted to have a better balance on the inside. So what I ended up doing was the one in the middle. As you can see, everything's all set up. This one over here is it's a tachometer, and back in the day they used analog. They didn't have digital. So I'm going to take this one out, find a third scale, print it up black and white, and then just remove this and put it inside. So that's easy. So it's a tachometer. Then from there we're going to, if I can get this right, it's either the altimeter or the airspeed. We were going airspeed, altimeter. That's the little bubble. That's the level going there. And then what I've got right down here is I've got I got climb set up. She didn't have it on her plane, but I figured, you know what, let's put it on this one just to take up that empty spot. So so anyway, that's I'm going to go ahead and drill. I've got the drill press set up with the 3/4 inch Forstner, and then I've got the 1 inch Forstner for the big one. So I'll get this stuff set up, and then I'm just going to call it a morning. So as soon as it's all done, I'll show you real quick, and then I'm out the door. Alright, getting ready to go head off. I got to get stuff moved around, get the plane back inside, and hit the road. Alright, got all the holes drilled out. You can see these, I've got a little more to remove. I've got these two already dressed up, ready to go. So they're just going to slide right in from the back side, and let's see if I can, and that's how they're going to look. Of course, they will be straight. And these will just be held in place on the back side with just some hot glue. I'll put hot glue around the outside so it's good to go. So that's how they will be set up on the inside. So either later on dropping stuff too. Either later on tonight or tomorrow, I will show you that completed. So, sorry about that. I will see you next time I'm back down here in the shop.